I don't know why I need to live in such fear of being thrown in jail for not being able to make the October hearing and also my trial set for November. I don't understand, because I've been able to make all my other hearings, including the starting from the arrest and all the 5 hearings on February 15th, March 2022, March 7th, March 21st, March 23rd, and April 6th, and then my ultimate trial on April 11th. I've been able to make all of those hearings and trial, plus I made jail for 26 days until I got out. I sat through all of that, and then after I was released from jail and paid the $1,500 bond, I sat through the hearing on the motion to stay sentence, and then on the that was on the 2nd. That was May 2nd. I sat in on the 3rd, May 3rd, 2022, the hearing on bail, and was released. And then I got permission to leave the state, and then I returned to Louisiana about 7 months later, just to do an update. So in January 2023, I did an update. I told my lawyer to stay home, and I've been making myself present with Judge Barber's court, but he's rejected my presence on Zoom. So I've made all of these hearings, and then suddenly I ask for a continuance because of various factors. I just want to push it back a month or two, and I'm told that if I miss what's already scheduled, that I'll just go to jail. And it doesn't matter that I've made all of these other hearings and trial, and that's all like it means nothing until your next hearing. That means nothing. Your history with the court doesn't mean anything. And I mean, I've gotten to know Judge Owsley and Cloyd Benjamin, my prosecutor. I've gotten to know who they are. I've gotten to know a lot of people around Natchitoches, the city council, getting to know the city, the very city that's charging me, although it is a state charge. So I've gotten to know the culture, and I've gotten to know the marshals, the city marshals. They handed me various motions and paperwork. They've gotten to know who I am, and the cops have gotten to know me. There's been a lot of getting to know each other, yet I'm still getting charged for failure to ID because I didn't get to know them sooner. Okay. But they know who I am now, but that's not a remedy to them. It's all about punishment. It's not about getting to know each other. So we're continuing to getting to know each other, and now I'm getting to know a new prosecutor. I forget his name. Getting to know my new Judge Barber out of Shreveport, Judge Brian Barber. I'm getting to know all of these people I would not have normally gotten to know if it wasn't for this arrest. And I got to know quite a few people in jail, which it looks like I'll be going back because of this charge. And I guess it'll be interesting to see if I see any of the same faces at jail, so I could catch up on old times from back in 2022. And I'm sure some of them guys are still there. I mean, one guy said he had a 20-year sentence, so and he served 2 years, so he was 18 years left. And if I see him again, I guess 16 years left or so. Ask him how it's going. So I got to know the jail staff. They've seen me naked. Also, some of the cops have seen me naked during the strip searches in Natchitoches. So we've gotten to know each other a lot in intimate ways, in various ways, but that's just not enough. That's no remedy, getting to know each other on a failure to ID charge. They want more than that. They want money, and they also get money for jailing me. But I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into play with this issue that's slowing my pace to get down there. I didn't want October. It's still going to be warm in October, and the hurricane season is still in effect. I'm told that hurricane season lasts until the end of November, and Judge Barber wants to schedule my trial in November. That's crazy. Why would I risk my life going down there? And there may not be a tornado or a hurricane, but I mean the threat is there, and they've had serious threats in the past. So there's factors. I mean, I don't drive a race car. I don't drive the newest model that I could just race around. I don't drive at high speeds. I go slow. I stop a lot. It's like I don't go down there just for the trial and then leave one day, found not guilty, and take off that day. It's not as easy as that. I have to go down there and stay a month. And in October, it's a dangerous time. It's still warm, and the hurricane is a threat. The crime is up. It's during Halloween. Halloween is a threat. People act a little crazy during that time. I'd prefer much cooler weather. That's why I hold off in these southern regions, southeast, south central, the United States. I mean, New Mexico is bad. There's just the south region is pretty bad, but I try to make sure not to get into those regions until it's very cold. So I'm facing extradition charges, even though I've made all of these dates. They mean nothing. They want to prosecute me to the fullest extent, regardless of that. And so I'm not just fighting the city judge. I'm also going to be fighting the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm writing my motion for continuance, not just to the city judge, but to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Okay, because I also will probably want their inputs when Judge Barber tells me that the date stays the same. I want to appeal or writ that to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and then I think I could writ it to the state Supreme Court after that, when the Third Circuit Court rejects the date too, and that'll push the date back to more acceptable dates. There's still measures that could be taken, and so I don't see a need to rush. I didn't see a need to rush to Williston, North Dakota, and I'll just say, and I think Louisiana is going to end up being similar, but I mean, I didn't make the court date that Judge Josh Roosted put on me, and I missed it, and he put out a bench warrant for me, and then a couple of weeks later, he just drops my criminal charge. I don't know what happened, but it was dropped, and my free lawyer, Hernandez, said this was a good outcome, and all this and all that, and case is done, and that's that. But yeah, it might turn out to be like that with Louisiana, but if it don't, that's fine. I intend to stop at sheriff's departments and ask questions. That's where I ask the audience, what kind of questions can I ask? because I'm not exactly sure. I want to make them a repeatable question where I could stop at multiple sheriff's offices to learn how they all do it. I think the first question is going to be about their policies. Where can I see your policies? All right. I'm not going in there just to ask for the complaint form. I just want to learn about extradition and how they'll treat me. I want to see their policies, because that's the something that may have that information I need. And then I want to ask about towing. What will happen to my car? That's something that's important to me. So if I was arrested in Michigan and they had to decide on the extradition and all of that, where's my car go? Who tows it? I want to know the exact name of the company that'll tow it, and then I want to know how much they charge, and look into that. And that's for every sheriff's department in every county I visit now as I'm moving south. I want to try to reach the sheriff's department with my questions, and I only have 2 questions right now, and that's the policies and the towing. If there's any other questions I can ask, I could use the ideas. All right, I'll ask ChatGPT to expand on policies and towing. But those are 2 questions I feel I can ask every sheriff's department about. I mean, so there's that. And then also I want to stop at courthouses and ask if I could see the computers. And usually I like to go in with a name. I'll ask who was most recently arrested in this city that the courthouse is located in, and then I'll just ask about that name at the clerk of courts. So there's that. And that's a little different, but that's just, sometimes the sheriff's department and the courthouse are right next to each other, so I could just ask both while I'm there. I'll have to admit I didn't do that this last time. I didn't realize I'd have such a long conversation with the clerk of courts in the last county I was in. But to race down there, it's not like I live across the street from this courthouse, and it's not like a drive that Judge Barber has to do from Shreveport to Natchitoches. It's not like that, and he probably will want to make it sound like it's all that is. He has to go out of his way to drive a long distance from Shreveport to Natchitoches. I'm in Michigan. I mean, get a grip, get a grasp of the distance, the difference in distances there. It's immense. And people brag about how they can drive from California to Missouri and back. I asked them, how often do you do oil changes? I mean, that's like a weekly oil change. And I only do oil changes once every few months, every 3 or 4 months, 6 months. Whenever I get to that 2,000, I'm not trying to race. I'm trying to take my time moving, and then that helps preserve the oil. It's like people are just in a different mind frame than me about travel. They don't see this. Traveling around, getting to see different places. I've never been here before. I'm just kind of walking out to a new area to talk about my court problems with Louisiana in a different spot, and I'll be in a different spot tomorrow. I think I'm looking into as I move, looking into other places. This is a nice peaceful spot. I've just walked a little bit off of the trail over here and just decided to make this little catch up on the hearings and court issues with Natchitoches, because this is getting ugly. My lawyer, he can only do so much. I gotten to know his family. I gotten to know him, all about him. He shared a lot of his opinions on stuff, and we've traded 1,000 emails back and forth. All of this back and forth that we've done, taking up my time, my attention, all over this failure to ID. It's still going on, and it's just something I've never experienced in my life in any place I've been. I don't know how it could get much worse than this. To be pressed with such a simple charge so hard. I've spent the most money I've ever spent. I've sat the most time in jail. You know, spent what, $30,000. Spent a month in jail. I mean, there's just records that I've set with a very similar criminal charge that I've had out of these 7 arrests now. It's just Louisiana is just off the charts with issues. I mean, even the states that haven't arrested me for anything and given me a hard time, at least they didn't charge me. At least I've had some states that wouldn't charge me, like Texas. I've had some cop run-ins in Texas over ID, but I never got a criminal charge. I never ended up in jail. The same goes for, I don't know, let's see, California, Oregon, Washington. I mean, I've had run-ins with cops, but I mean, I've never, Arizona, New Mexico. I mean, there's a ton, Nevada. I mean, yeah, I've had cop run-ins, but nothing on this level. I mean, and I'm you know, I haven't visited all the states yet. I mean, it can be worse. Yeah, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I mean, Wisconsin, I've gotten two criminal charges and a ticket in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has been rough, but at least they come to their senses at some point, and Louisiana does not. And it just continues to boil over and boil. And it's been a lot of stress on me. It's been hard on my health, and it's taken up a lot of my time. But I have to continue to press on, and I'm focusing on this motion for continuance, and I'm at this point where, you know, now that my lawyer has sent out a motion to remove himself from my case, the judge has not made a decision on that yet, even though when my lawyer came onto the case, Judge Owsley signed that order the next day, saying that, okay, we recognize Phil Adams as being on the case, but Judge Barber did not sign the next day. He's still sitting on it. The motion that my lawyer made about exiting the case. So there's that. And the longer there's a limbo with that decision, because clearly there's a judge makes an order and a decision, and he doesn't need to have a hearing over that. He could just write his name in the order and then submit it to all the parties, the defense and prosecution. But he's been sitting on it. And I think maybe it could be because my Phil may not have put a date. He actually put a date on the motion to enter into my case. There was actually a date in the first paragraph. There is no date on this motion to exit my case, so there might be some confusion with that. Maybe he could redraft it and send it again. Yeah, he's willing to send that, but he's not willing to send a continuance. A continuance is something I have to do on my own now, asking for a continuance, and I'm going to make all my arguments. You know, I'm not in your jurisdiction. You know, once you put out that arrest warrant, it's not like I'm hiding in your jurisdiction. It's not like you're just going to come to get me. Even though I find it interesting, it says that on my bail, the $1,500 bail agreement, that I certified that I'm a resident of Natchitoches. And I pretty much was, all right? I mean, up to that point, from January 22nd to April 11th, I was a resident of Natchitoches, pretty much sleeping in my car in the parking lot of the courthouse, waiting on that trial. And then living in the jail for another month, and then getting the bail and certifying that I am a resident of Natchitoches, because I spent a number of months there, even though I didn't have an address. I just stuck around to try to deal with this, and it wasn't happening. And it's like I had that hearing on a 2-day notice, the 22nd, and then 2 days later, the 23rd in March 2022. And it's like a 2-day notice. And I'm trying to be reasonable here. They're giving me such short notice hearings, and Judge Owsley, of course, illegally denied me a lawyer the whole time, all the hearings, the trial, everything. He illegally denied me my free lawyer, or at least a chance to argue my case for a free lawyer, and then that's why the case got overturned. We wasted all of that time. And Judge Barber is not acting much different from Judge Owsley. He's given the hand wave about me appearing on Zoom, even though Judge Owsley has held trials over Zoom. That's one of the questions I want to ask the court. I want to ask the judge, Judge Barber, have you ever held a hearing over Zoom or a trial? Has the court ever held a hearing or a trial over Zoom? Yes or no? And it's most likely going to be yes. And then the next question is going to be, why are you denying me? Okay, that has not been put on the record. Why? So this has been very frustrating, just dealing with over this time, and it's just this ongoing. I'm focused on stopping at sheriff's offices and learning more about extradition, because that's always fun, and writing a continuance for the motion for continuance. So it's just an ongoing saga with Natchitoches, Louisiana.